Well, welcome to May, and we made it through April as I record this on April 25th, 2025. And I hope nothing pops off in between now and the first of the month. But so far, we made it through, and I'm thankful for that because there was a lot of Gate 36 energy. Gate 36 still remains part of the story for May, but it's a much smaller part of the picture. We'll still have the nodes in Gate 36 and Gate 6. So that's going to remain for the full month, and that goes right until June. And even Saturn will be moving into Gate 25 out of Gate 36 on the 5th of May. So it will just be the North Node in Gate 36 and the South Node in Gate 6. Now, that doesn't mean that it completely eliminates the energy from our view or our world in general, because it is going to be the background frequency. We won't have an emotional wave until the end of the month, and that's going to be when we have Mercury, I believe on the 31st of May, is going to be going into Gate 35, bringing us a full channel into the first couple of days of June. So that will be when we have a repeat of the 35-36 channel that Jupiter had given us for a while back in April and also March. One very interesting thing that's going to be happening is, now keep in mind that we have nodal shifts that happen every, I mean, the whole thing, the nodal cycle is about every, what, 19 to 20 years. But because of the way the nodes are, they flip. So for us to have Gate 36 is in either the south or north node, it'll be another 8 or 9 years. And so the messages that we get during this transit are messages that are, I would say, very impactful. And we could even say karmic in nature. And why that matters is because we have the North Node moving into Gate 36, line 4, and it will be in that line until the 15th of the month. Now, Gate 36, line 4 is a really interesting energy. It's called espionage. And this is basically getting information that is very pivotal to keep you safe or to avoid crisis or to have something valuable so that when something comes ahead and you see it happening in your world, you sort of have some forewarning, and that's what this energy can potentially bring us. It could even be spiritual energy. It could be something physical in your manifest world. It is Gate 36 is really connected to living life. And so this really makes sense in that it would be something that we could see on the world stage or you could see in your life. And it's something that is giving you information. But the most important thing about it is, because Gate 36 is an awareness gate, it's a solar plexus gate. I mean, the awareness is not as perfect as it could be, and we'll get more of that as we move into 2027 with the solar plexus mutation. But ultimately, it still is an awareness, and this can bring a sense of nervousness. Gate 6 as well is also an awareness gate. So we have both of these in the nodes. Now, from a global perspective, we could see this as cyber attacks. This could be where you hear about really impactful information that is coming out into the forefront. Keep in mind that Gate 36, line 4 was in play when the whole signal gate thing happened. And so would there be more connected to that? Potentially. Would there be more connected to war plans? Because you also have to remember we have Gate 36 in opposition to Gate 6. So Gate 6 is diplomacy. It could be trying to find a middle ground, but also, of course, it is friction, wars, and conflicts. So this could be war plans again, secret war plans that are getting leaked, and it could be beneficial. It can also be where secret plans are leaked or somebody is a whistleblower, those types of things, because it may get somebody out of trouble. So they may tell on somebody else so that they can get out of trouble. So this is a really impactful time to sort of really be wide open and awake and aware, because there could be some really important information that you just don't want to miss out on. And staying with that theme of information that might be helpful for you as you move forward, I do want to give a heads up on some transits that I'm looking at ahead of time. And this is not to fearmonger. This is not to say anything will happen, but I am looking at a couple of transits that are sort of giving me pause, you could say. And the first transit would be that we are going to have a nodal shift, and that's going to happen on June 13th. That's going to move us into the North Node in Gate 22 and the South Node in Gate 47. I will do a complete video on that in the future, but I just want to give an early heads up because I think it's important information. There's a couple things that I look at when I see Gate 22, especially when we had Neptune moving through that energy almost for the entirety of the COVID crisis. And what I've seen with the nodes being activated, especially where Neptune has just been within that energy for an extended period of time, is that it does have a tendency to reactivate the energy. Does that mean that we're going to have another COVID pandemic? Probably not. That's not what I'm looking at. But it does say that there might be some sort of epidemic or even a pandemic, not to the lockdown style. I don't mean it like that, but something connected to that. I do have this tendency to sort of look towards bird flu and also food issues or food shortages. And that kind of links into the other place I'm looking, and that is Pluto moving into gate 60. And it'll be moving into gate 60 for the final time. That means that it won't go back into gate 60 for another 248 years, so we will not see it come back. I always feel like when a slow-moving planet takes its last pass through a gate, it does want to sort of really leave us with a message. Well, gate 60 is about transcending limitation. It is about finding mutative ways to use what you have within your grasp already. In other words, instead of going to the store and buying all the items that you need to make something, you come up with a way to incorporate items that you have to make something new. It is also about limitations. It is about being okay with being in a position where you know that things are sort of at a stop point, but knowing that at any time mutation can open the door and you can walk through, and that is what we call transcending limitations. But we can also go right down to the mundane perspective, and this looks at Pluto in gate 60 being connected to shortages, being connected to limitations, being connected to having less of things. So if we connect those energies, because on the 20th of August, that is when Pluto is going to be moving back into gate 60, line 6, and it will be in there right until December 4th or 5th, 2025, and that'll be the end of it. It'll move back into gate 41, but it is a time of potential limitation. Pluto was last in this energy from January 1st to January 29th, 2025, so it could be reactivating themes at that point. And if we add Pluto in gate 60 with gate 47, that the South Node is going to be in, they were looking at this, it's basically called oppression. And a lot of times it can be sort of an oppressive feeling that we have within ourselves, we're of holding ourselves back, or maybe sometimes not thinking that we had enough value from experiences that we've had in our lives. Then when we move from the first, second lines into the third, fourth, and fifth lines, we can get to the point where we are having an outside oppression, which is something that an outside force being oppressive. So that's another thing that we could see happening with the nodes. Whatever that shows up as, we will see. And we know that with the nodes, they move in retrograde. And so that means that they will be moving from the sixth line right down to the first line. So the nodes will be in 22 and 47 right until November. I believe it's November 2nd, just to keep that in mind. So again, is not anything to be fearful of. I just felt like I needed to mention it. And now that I have, if the information is valuable to you, then that's wonderful. And other things that are happening for May, I would say overall in May, we have a lot of individual energy. So we do still have that tribal frequency in the background and with the South Node in gate 6. So that will still be there in the background. Overall, it may be time where you want to sort of pull back from the fray. Maybe all the chaos of the last couple of months has been so much that you just want to break. You just want to have some alone time. And with all the individual energy, that basically can give you that kind of space to be able to do that. Jupiter's going to move into gate 12. It is in detriment in the first line, and it's called the monk, which basically says sometimes we get too much of a good thing where we're staying alone and away from things. And I think that, it's whatever feels good to you. It is about aligning with your emotional energy, in that if you feel like you want to go out, go out, and if you want to stay home, then stay home. The only fly in the ointment you could say is Mars moving into gate 33. Mars will be moving into gate 33 from May 5th to May 17th. And with Mars here, it's in detriment in a couple of lines. And gate 33 is about retreat. It's about going into your own space, which really does align with the individual energy. Going into your own space, figuring out what happened, and kind of putting it into your memory banks and using what you need to use to move forward in your life, because everything within gate 33 is about cycles. And so it's saying, okay, for the next cycle or the next experience that I have, what memories are important to save and to work from going into the next cycle. But the thing is sometimes with Mars, Mars is like, let's just do stuff. Let's get out in the world. Let's not retreat. Let's not get away from the world. And then what happens is you move into a new experience, but you forget what you did last time. And you sort of may lose those very valuable memories. And that's the whole point of retreat, is to sort of sit with those memories, to get home from a vacation, you could say. If you were in a vacation and you went to this wonderful place, and instead of actually coming home and just kind of kicking back and relaxing, which most people actually find that they like to do, you're moving into another brand new event where you're inundated with brand new experiences, but you never really processed what happened. And this is where we're into this mode of process, but Mars doesn't want to do that. Now, we could also look at that from a point of an actual retreat, and this will figure into a global perspective. Moving back into the global perspective, we will have the 2551 channel activated a couple times in the month. It's going to be activated right in the beginning of the month with Mercury, Mercury being Great Gate 51. It'll be in there from the 1st until the 5th of May, and this will activate the full channel. Mercury's in detriment in Gate 51, which means that it may be about getting more than you bargained for. In other words, biting off more than you can chew, thinking you are able to withstand the competition, because it is about competition as well. So getting in way over your head. So that's something to keep in mind from a personal perspective. And we also have Venus at the end of the month. And Venus will be in that energy from the 20th until probably about the 27th, 28th of May, and we'll bring the full channel as well. Venus is in detriment and as well, but it's not to the same level of Mercury, where Mercury just kind of thinks that it has all it needs and it's just going to jump in there and compete and do what it wants to do and not really think ahead and just jump into the deep end and hope that you can swim. Venus is not the same. It could be more spiritually initiated, and the other perspective, it could be connected to your job, your work, shocking events happening, or before and after events, shifting events, competition. With Venus here, it's more about retreating as opposed to sort of getting in over your head. So there's that perspective. So it is a little bit safer. It could even be relationships too. This could be spiritually inspired, as I mentioned, but especially with Neptune in Gate 25. But again, it is something that is very impactful, that shifts your life. And it could be in a way where you just can't really go back to what you once believed. But when we look at the Mercury perspective, this also overlaps with Mars in Gate 33. If we look at the Mercury perspective of the full channel, again, this is highly competitive. And if we look at Neptune in a different perspective, we could look at it as, yes, spiritually based. It could absolutely be that perspective. Maybe you go into a spiritual kind of initiation type of thing, and maybe it's more than you sort of bargained for. Maybe it's overwhelming or something like that. So there's always that perspective. But if we look from a global perspective, we could look at this as being competition or biting off more than you can chew in a conflict, because we have the South Node activated by Gate 6. This is basically getting into a conflict, not knowing when enough is enough, just getting in too far. And then you get Mars in there, which says no retreat. We don't retreat. We continue to push forward. And that comes sort of right after that same energy. And so we could see blow-ups of energy that is activating these warlike conflict, energetic types of situations, where instead of going to your own corners, as they do in boxing, people continue to escalate, escalate, escalate instead of de-escalating, when that really is the smartest idea. So hopefully that won't be the case. It is a powerful time, sort of the end of April and the beginning of May, where we might see some activations worldwide. And this is connected to global conflicts and those types of things. And there might even be new conflicts that we see happen. And I'm also looking at the Pluto Mars opposition that happens before Mars goes into Gate 33 now. It is leadership. Mars in Gate 31 is leadership. But when we get to Gate 31, line 4, we're getting into this perspective of not the best leader in the world. This is a leader who is very aggressive, very yang, very warlike, and wanting to get their own way, filled with ego, so filled with ego that they can't see the truth beyond their belief in how amazing of a leader they are. There's a manipulation energy with this. This is not a wonderful energy. And so what this could do is activate conflicts that really don't need to be activated. And also with Jupiter in Gate 45 connecting with Mercury in Gate 21, I spoke about this the last month overview. It is a very intense time where things could blow up. And the countries that are sort of connected to this energy, that doesn't mean they have to be involved, but they potentially could be involved, are the US, Iran, Israel, Pakistan, and India. So those are all the energies that potentially could show up. It doesn't mean that there won't be other ones, but these are the ones that sort of, to me, have sort of red flags around the energy. Once again, I would like it to be completely peaceful and everything is smooth and calm. And as they say, cooler heads prevail. And let's hope for that to happen. And finally, we have Chiron continuing to be in gate 42. And Chiron will remain here right until June 18th. And this is a time where we continue to close up shop and cycles. But remember, every cycle that we end comes with a new beginning built within it. And so sometimes it is time to let go of something to move on. This could be people passing, famous people. The Pope did pass during this cycle. And Chiron, in my opinion, is especially strong in gate 42 because we do have the nodes, the background frequency of gate 36, which is cyclical energy. All these energies work together. They're all built on cycles. But no, not only does gate 42 end a cycle, could also be building on a cycle that already exists, upgrading, up leveling. The woundedness that can come with it is sometimes we have to let go of something that we love in order to continue on with this cycle. And it could mean, like I've used this as an example, is you have your dream job and you want to join it and it's exciting, but it means that you have to move away from your hometown and your family in order to get this new job. So there is that beautiful energy and excitement of this brand new job, but there's also that sort of difficulty leaving those people behind that are part of your family. Overall, the month looks a lot different than it did last month, and hopefully it will be a little bit more easygoing. I do see that June will be a little bit different. We do have Jupiter moving into gate 15, and that is the gate of extremes, and I will be interested to see how that plays out. But having said that, it is exalted in two lines, so it may bring a powerful energy for extremes that are beneficial and in some way expand our awareness or expand our lives in a very positive way. And with that said, I hope you have a wonderful month ahead, and I will be back soon. Until then, take care and bye for now.